Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for a album review this time, and sorry that it took me a little bit to do this next review. I was just calling my doctor's office to see when I can get in for this thing or whatever, the viral infection thing, because I just got to be sure what it is, because I'm having bad coughing problems and all that. But I'm trying to get over it. It's just taking a little bit more time. So I can't go back to work until this thing is gone. So basically, I'm returning to you, like I said, for an album review. And this is for Taylor Swift Midnights, her new album that I'm going to be reviewing for you guys. That is coming out tomorrow. Or at midnight tonight. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Taylor Swift's new album, Midnights, and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with Lavender Haze, and off the bat, it's just a solid start. Not sure if I'm connecting with certain moments in the track and how Taylor Swift is singing it. It feels a little. It's good in its own way, but it just has some weak moments. So 4.5 out of 5 for the first track. In my opinion, there's some singing from Taylor Swift that I don't know if I like in it, and then there's pretty strong singing from her. So yeah, Maroon is the next song, and that's a solid track. It seems like she's reverting back to her pop stuff with this album instead of the acoustic folk stuff. She's going more deeper into the pop synth stuff with this album, and it's not bad, but it just depends on the songs. So 4.5 out of 5 for Maroon. It didn't execute too bad, but it's good in its own way. It's just a something track. AntiHero, or AntiHero, or however she sung it. This track was very melodic and mellow too. And I didn't hate how it was sounding acoustic guitar wise, because she had that in this track. So it wasn't too bad, but the execution and the delivery of the song performed solidly, so it's a good track in its own way. Just has some weak moments from time to time, so 4.5 out of 5. Snow on the Beach featuring Lana Del Rey. I personally found this track to be slightly boring. I didn't hate this song, I just think it's decent, but it has some boring cuts when you get through the majority of the track. And Lana Del Rey sounds very tired, kind of lazy shit and all that. So in my opinion, I'm like, it's decent, but it's nothing special. So 4 out of 5. You're on Your Own, Kid is a solid track. Not really hating it for what it's going for, but it's something. So 4.5 out of 5. The way Taylor Swift is singing the track, it's doing alright over me, but I'm just not connecting with this song on a personal level. So I'm just like, these Taylor Swift songs so far are not doing very good, but they're solid. So 4.5 out of 5 for You're on Your Own, Kid. Midnight Rain was average. Not really feeling for this track. Just has some decent moments and it has some average moments. So it's in between where my rating's going to be. So 3.5 out of 5 for Midnight Rain. I don't like the auto-tune vocal, the electronic vocal or whatever. That's singing just like Taylor Swift, but more monotoned a bit and toned down. So it's not really interesting me, this song, and the melody and the synth beat is just, is cringy. So 3.5 out of 5. Question with a question mark. Decent song. Sorry about my congestion. Still getting congestion some of the time from this laryngitis thing I got like almost a week ago. So I was coughing really bad last week, so that's why I couldn't do videos for 3 to 4 days or so. So yeah, Question's a decent song. Don't hate how it's sounding. Just have some underlying issues with it, with just the way it's executing and just how Taylor Swift is singing the track, so 4 out of 5. Vigilante shit is decent. It has some weak moments, but with just how the lyricism is in the track and just the way Taylor Swift is singing it, it's decent in its own way. It has some good moments too with some of the melody and how it's sounding production wise, but the lyricism is what I'm not on board with this one too much. But it's alright. So 4 out of 5. Bejeweled. Feel like this is getting to a boring point in the album where these tracks are just becoming filler songs and not really doing much for me. So 4 out of 5 for Bejeweled. And pretty much, yeah, most of this album does feel fillerish. Like the songs sound the same a bit. And it just, no substance at all with this album. Or the formula for this album and how it sounds and all that. It's just coming off a little samey for some songs and all that. So 4 out of 5. Just depends on the melody and how it's sounding. Labyrinth was not too bad. It's a little different. So we're getting into a different kind of sound with the end to the album. So 4 out of 5 for this one. It has some decent cuts, but there are some weak moments that kind of ruin the song a bit with just the way Taylor Swift is singing certain verses in the song. Karma is a decent song. It just feels a little cheesy from time to time, in my opinion. But the execution did decently, so 4 out of 5. Sweet Nothing was actually bringing the album up to a better standard to where it's a good track, but not the best song. So I was kind of digging this track a bit, so 4.5 out of 5. I didn't hate how it was sounding, and the way Taylor Swift was singing it was not too bad. And finally, we get to the last song, Mastermind. Solid cut to end the album, meaning it's a solid song. It's good in its own way, but has some weak moments with the melody and just this production work. But other than that, Taylor Swift sung pretty well in this track, so 4.5 out of 5. I would do the deluxe edition, but haven't been able to find it yet. So I will do another video for that probably tomorrow or so. So definitely tune into that. So overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Taylor Swift Midnight's her new album for this regular edition I reviewed for you guys. I think this was a decent album. It's not the best album, but it's something at least to keep us entertained until the next album cycle. This, I believe, is her 10th studio album, and it's a decent album. I just wouldn't recommend listening to it too much, but it just depends. You can listen to it if you want, but I personally found it to be decent. Not something I'd go out and buy. But hey, you do you, I guess. So overall, in my opinion, I think Taylor Swift Midnights for this regular edition album review. Decent album. Definitely surprised me with how some of the songs sounded, but then there were some weak moments during the album's samey production, samey sound to each song, sounding almost the same. So there were a couple songs that almost sounded the same and were going nowhere. So it just felt like a bore, this album, just a little bit. So for a score for me, I'm giving Taylor Swift Midnights, her new album, for this regular edition review. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Decent listen. It's not bad, it's just, I don't know, I wouldn't be returning to this too much. Because I just didn't find any good qualities about the track too much. Or this album too much. But it is what it is, I guess. So sorry, there's someone outside my house or whatever. I don't fucking know why, but still. pretty much comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the Taylor Swift album Midnights. If you listen to it, sorry, I'm getting distracted by outside stuff outside my house, so please forgive me on that. And if you did enjoy this album review, which I am giving it a 7 out of 10, I just found it to be decent. I just wouldn't remember this album. It's not memorable, but I'll listen to the deluxe edition tracks. There's only 3 songs on the deluxe edition for the Target exclusive, so I'll be reviewing that. So if you did enjoy this album review, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can. Support the channel. Keep in mind this is strictly my opinion. You don't have to agree with me on it. Just what I listened to. It's just how I felt when I listened to this album. I felt there were some decent songs, and then there were some weak ones that really brought the rating to this album down. A lot of these songs got 4 out of 5s, in my opinion, but other than that, it's a decent listen, so you can check it out if you want, but I personally am not going to be coming back to this too much. Only from time to time, but not that much. If I want to hear something mellow, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll check this album out, but most likely I'd probably find something else to listen to instead of this album. But Taylor Swift didn't do too bad. I think she did a decent job, but nothing that's mind-blowingly great. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this lengthy album review for Taylor Swift Midnights, the regular edition album review. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. I'll have a deluxe edition review coming out, most likely, sorry about the noise, that's, I think, a UPS truck or whatever passing by my neighborhood, in my neighborhood or whatever, but I will have a deluxe edition review coming out tomorrow, so definitely tune in to that review for Taylor Swift Midnight's deluxe edition review. And stay safe, take care. I'll have more reviews coming out soon, and as always, I will see you in my next review.